For most of my life, the only thing I knew about fields was how fast you could drive across them in a souped-up hatchback. My world was one of screaming engines, tire smoke, and arguing with my two shorter colleagues in some far-flung corner of the globe. Farming was something other people did. It was a backdrop, a green blur outside a car window. But then, in a moment of what can only be described as spectacular foolishness, I decided to take over the running of my own farm in the Cotswolds. I'd owned the land for years, but a chap called Howard had been doing the actual, farming. When he retired, I thought, how hard can it be? It turns out it's very, very hard indeed. My grand plan was simple. I would apply my massive brain and considerable genius to agriculture. I thought I could outsmart the weather, bend nature to my will, and make a fortune. It was a brilliant idea, except for the fact that I knew absolutely nothing. I couldn't drive a tractor in a straight line. I didn't know a spring barley from a winter wheat. And my understanding of livestock was limited to how it tasted with a side of chips. The local farmers, including a young man named Caleb Cooper, who would soon become my agricultural overlord, looked at me with a mixture of pity and amusement. They knew I was in for a shock, and they were, of course, completely right. The decision to film this whole calamitous adventure was almost an afterthought. The original idea was to document a year in the life of a farm to show people where their food comes from. But it quickly became apparent that the real story wasn't about crop cycles or soil pH. It was about an idiot from London trying to wrestle with one of the oldest and most difficult professions on earth. The cameras were there to capture every mistake, every miscalculation, and every moment of utter despair. It was a television show built not on success, but on my consistent and spectacular failure to get anything right. It was a recipe for disaster, which, as it happens, makes for surprisingly good television. My journey from the world of supercars to the world of soil was driven by a growing sense of disillusionment. After decades of driving the latest and greatest machines, I found that modern cars were becoming soulless appliances. They were all electric, all silent, and all mind-numbingly dull. Farming, on the other hand, felt real. It was tangible, authentic, and brutally honest. You couldn't cheat the seasons or argue with a sheep. It was a world of genuine passion and consequence, a world where your hard work could be wiped out by a single night of bad weather. It was a challenge that, unlike a new Ferrari, actually scared me a little bit. And that was precisely why I had to do it. The first season of Clarksons' farm was a baptism of fire, or more accurately, a baptism of mud and torrential rain. We began with the grand purchase of a Lamborghini tractor, a machine so absurdly large and complicated that it barely fit through the farm gates. My first year was a catalogue of errors. I planted the wrong seeds in the wrong fields, bought sheep that were determined to escape at every opportunity, and waged a futile war against the weather. The entire operation was saved from total collapse by Caleb, who patiently explained my endless mistakes, and my long-suffering land agent, Cheerful Charlie, who delivered increasingly bleak financial news with a smile. By the end of the year, I had made a profit of just £144. It was a humbling, exhausting, and brilliant experience. Season 2 saw my ambitions grow along with my problems. Having learned that traditional farming was a one-way ticket to the poorhouse, I decided to diversify. My new obsession was cows. I bought a herd of beautiful but very stubborn beef cattle and set about trying to create a restaurant right here on the farm. This, predictably, brought me into direct conflict with the local council, a group of people who seemed to exist solely to say no to my brilliant ideas. The season became a relentless battle against bureaucracy, red tape, and planning regulations. Every small victory was followed by a crushing defeat, as we fought for permission to sell the food we were producing on the very land it came from. By the time season 3 rolled around, the farm was facing its biggest crisis yet. The council had successfully shut down my restaurant, leaving me with a herd of cows and nowhere to sell the beef. To make matters worse, a brutal summer drought was followed by a miserable wet winter, devastating our crops. We were losing money hand over fist. This season was about survival. We tried everything, growing mushrooms in a disused bunker, farming pigs in the woods, and even making our own nettle soup. It was a desperate scramble for any source of income. The season also brought a very real and personal challenge, as our beloved farmhand, Gerald Cooper, faced a serious health battle, reminding us all that some problems are far bigger than farming. Throughout these seasons, the farm itself has been the main character, constantly changing and evolving. We've gone from a simple arable operation to a chaotic mix of sheep, cows, pigs, and bees. We built a farm shop that became unexpectedly popular, causing traffic jams that infuriated the neighbors. We've battled planning laws, unpredictable global events, and my own staggering incompetence. Each season has presented a new set of challenges, from the global pandemic in the first year to the financial pressures of the third. The only constant has been the difficulty. Diddley Squat has become a living, breathing entity, a testament to the relentless struggle that is modern British farming. My quest for diversification didn't stop with a failed restaurant. My next brilliant idea was to buy the local pub. It seemed like a logical step, a place where people could enjoy a pint and hopefully some of our Diddley Squat produce. I bought a lovely old pub in a nearby village and christened it the Farmer's Dog. The vision was clear, a proper British pub serving proper British beer and food, a haven from the modern world of gastropubs with their tiny portions and silly prices. I imagined myself as a cheerful landlord, pulling pints and sharing stories with the locals. Naturally, the reality was a complete and utter nightmare from the very beginning. The problems started immediately and never really stopped. First, there was the small issue of running a pub, which, like farming, is a profession I knew nothing about. We struggled with staffing, with suppliers, and with the sheer cost of keeping the lights on. Then came the disasters. A major plumbing catastrophe required a team in hazmat suits to fix, a situation that was as expensive as it was disgusting. I had underestimated every single aspect of the hospitality business. The dream of a cozy country inn quickly turned into a money pit that was hemorrhaging cash faster than I could earn it. It was another one of my genius ideas that was proving to be anything but. As the farm and its new ventures grew in popularity, so did the friction with the local community. While many people embraced the farm, others were less than thrilled. The success of the farm shop brought an unprecedented amount of traffic to our quiet country lanes, creating congestion and frustration for some of our neighbours in the village of Chadlington. The pub, located on a busy main road, only added to these concerns. We found ourselves in constant communication with the local council, trying to find solutions to the traffic problems we had inadvertently created. It was a difficult balancing act, trying to run a business while also being a good neighbour. The reaction from the council has been a central theme of this entire project. From the farm shop to the restaurant and the pub, we have been locked in a seemingly endless struggle with planning officials and local authorities. They have opposed almost every new idea, citing rules and regulations that seem designed to stifle any form of innovation. While I understand their concerns about traffic and preserving the character of the area, their rigid opposition has often felt personal and deeply frustrating. It has highlighted a wider issue facing many farmers who are trying to find new ways to survive in a tough industry, only to be blocked by a wall of bureaucracy at every turn. So why do people keep watching a show about a middle-aged man failing at farming? I believe it's because Clarksons' farm is, at its heart, an honest story. It doesn't pretend that farming is easy or romantic. It shows the mud, the financial stress, the heartbreak of losing an animal, and the sheer exhaustion of it all. People connect with the struggle. They see me, an absolute amateur, trying and failing and trying again. It's a universal experience, whether you're starting a new job, learning a new skill, or just trying to assemble a piece of flat-pack furniture. Everyone knows what it feels like to be completely out of their depth. The show is a celebration of glorious, relentless, and often hilarious failure. The show's appeal also lies in its cast of genuine characters. There's Caleb, the young farming prodigy with his encyclopedic knowledge and his profound hatred of London. There's cheerful Charlie, the land agent who delivers devastating news with an unflappable smile. And of course there's Gerald, whose thick West Country accent makes him wonderfully incomprehensible, yet universally loved. These are real people, not actors. Their relationships, their banter, and their shared passion for the land are the soul of the show. They are the ones who make Diddley Squat work, and their patience with my incompetence is truly a sight to behold. They provide the heart that balances out my blustering. Clarksons farm also serves as an important window into a world that most people never see. It pulls back the curtain on modern agriculture and reveals the immense challenges facing British farmers today. Viewers learn about the impact of government policy, the volatility of crop prices, the devastating effects of climate change, and the constant battle against red tape. The show has inadvertently become an advocate for farmers, generating a newfound appreciation for the people who produce our food. It has started conversations and made people think about where their Sunday roast actually comes from, which is perhaps the most important achievement of all. Ultimately, the farm keeps changing, and that's why the story continues. We are always facing a new crisis or embarking on a new, ill-advised project. From battling the council over a car park to launching a pub, there is never a dull moment. The future of Diddley Squat is as uncertain as the British weather. Will we ever make a real profit? Will I ever learn to drive the tractor properly? Probably not. But we will keep trying, and we will keep filming. Because the story of Clarksons Farm is not about reaching a destination. It's about the chaotic, muddy, and endlessly entertaining journey of trying to get there, and that, it seems, is something people enjoy watching.